whatever you wind up doing is exactly what you should be doing.
And I have not behaved one single day of my life. Not one day of my life have I behaved, and I am fine.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people. Whose car are we gonna take?
There we go. Hello.
Hey, good morning. I'm like, what's happening?
Got to turn the mic on. Thank you for joining us on the Nikki Maduro Show on this Monday. Sorry we're a minute late. I was watching the latest news on the situation that you guys have been talking about in the comments.
Yeah.
This active, it's a standoff happening in San Pablo. We're assuming it's an active shooter. We don't have very much details, but it's been going on since very, very early this morning. And so Kim's doing news. She'll keep her eye on it. But
yeah, it's a shelter in place right now.
And that's it.
It's kind of interesting. It's the whole stay inside, lock all the doors, and don't come out situation. But also, they're saying the sheriff's office, Contra Costa County Sheriff, is advising people to stay off the phone.
Yeah, don't call 911.
Not to call 911 unless you've got a life-threatening emergency. Like, leave us alone. We're trying to get some type of standoff situation dealt with in your neighborhood. Don't call us. We know.
Don't call us. We'll let you know when it's over. But yeah, it sucks because KTVU was interviewing one older gentleman. And he's like, I tried to go through the other entrance into the neighborhood, and that was blocked off too. This is hours long. So this is very, very early this morning.
It's the Montalvan neighborhood, Montalvan Manor, near Rachel and Heather Roads in San Pablo. They've got a school there called Montalvan Manor. It's at K all through 8, and it's closed down today because of this. So.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're in the area or if you know anybody, that's what's going on. We'll keep our eye on it. But yeah, I was trying to get the latest, but I couldn't get anything at all. All right, well, click the thumbs up button, you guys. Show your support for the show. As always, the super chat is live as well. And if you love waking up each and every day to the Nikki Maduro Show, show us that you love it by supporting us through our Patreon. Just go to thenikkimaduroshow.com. thenikkimaduroshow.com. Our Patreon link is there. We do take PayPal as well. Just go to paypal.com and put in the email, thenikkimaduroshow@gmail.com. So Kim has her sexy voice on today because a little bit of a cold has hit the McAllister household.
Yeah.
My daughter's actually going to be going into school a little bit later because she's been having a little stomach issues. All of the snacks that I had bought are still in the bag. So anybody worried? Yeah, she wasn't feeling too hot for her birthday weekend. So she really didn't eat any of it.
But
she
the other girls didn't either?
Not really. Like the next morning I woke up and all the snacks that I bought.
What about all those Monster Energy drinks?
They're still in the fridge.
What?
I mean, I think they had one, which is like, okay. But no, her stomach wasn't, even before the birthday party, she wasn't feeling too hot. Yeah, this sort of thing, you never feel 100% most of the time anyway. So I'll be taking her into school. Hopefully her stomach will start feeling better. So, and then, Dylan, he had a little bit of a sore throat recently. It's just that time of year, people. Yep. Yeah. But you know what I was able to do this weekend?
What?
Guess who I met? Is she here? She's not here yet. I met Kay and Kay is here. I met Kay in Santa Rosa. I know. So all of you, thank you for buying raffle tickets. And Kay donated that 49ers cooler. So I had to get it. Janet, if you're in the comments, I need your address. I've been trying to reach Janet through PayPal, email, everything. I need your address, please, so I can bring you your cooler.
Is it not exciting to meet people? Like, I love meeting. I love when you see someone in person. You're like, I know you.
Yes, exactly. It was so funny. And I'm just going to call you out, Kay. She looks at me. She's like, you're so much shorter than I thought. I'm like, how many times do I have to tell people? I'm very tiny. I'm a very tiny person.
So funny.
But it was so awesome to meet Kay. And so she's in Santa Rosa. She'd love to meet you, Kim. So hopefully you guys can work that out sometime in the future. But that was just so much fun. And yeah, Janet, if you're listening, please email me back and give me your address so I could drop it off for you because you won the cooler and I need to get that to you. Okay.
I have to tell you something. Julia.
Okay.
We're in the car and I forget the context. Oh, she was at a friend's house and I was picking her up and they had watched a movie. I think it was, some Matthew McConaughey movie.
Oh, good choice. Okay.
I think it was like a rom-com type of thing. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days or something like that.
Good one. That's a very, very good one. Okay.
And so she gets in the car and she turns to me and she goes, Matthew McConaughey is really cute.
No crap, Julia. Welcome to the team,
I'm
my
like,
friend.
oh my God. I go, you got to talk to Nikki about this. I go, Nikki Maduro met him. Her mouth falls open. No, she didn't. Yes, she did. And she has a picture of herself with him.
Yes, right.
And you know why she met him? Because of me and Dillette. Yes, that's why she met him.
I will always appreciate you. He is on my phone. He is my screensaver on my phone.
I'm like, he's a little old for you, dude. She's like, I don't care. He's cute.
Exactly.
Wow.
Not as we're marrying the guy, Kim. We are just.
That's the first time she's ever said that to me about having a guy like who she finds attractive.
It's honestly, it's the Matthew McConaughey magic. It is. You just all of a sudden you watch these movies and you're like, that guy is extremely attractive and he's just so sweet and it's just so fun. And I love that she found there's so many good Matthew McConaughey movies that are beyond rom-coms. So just
he's a little strange. She goes, yeah, that doesn't matter.
Exactly.
She goes, I don't care.
I love you, Julia. Welcome to the team.
And then she looks at me and she goes, all right.
Has she seen Dazed and Confused? I doubt she's seen Dazed and Confused.
No. I go, what has happened? What has happened?
Matthew McConaughey effect.
Why is little Nikki Maduro sitting next to me in the car? What is going on?
She's like, I think I have a crush. You will keep that crush for the rest of your life, my friend. So there you go.
Janet emailed you earlier this morning.
Thank you, Janet. Yeah. I will definitely get that to you. We'll figure that out. Good. Yeah. The SAG Awards were also this weekend. I did not watch because I was a bit busy on Saturday. Oppenheimer won the best motion picture. Lily Gladstone won the best female actor in a leading role. Is it Cillian Murphy? I never know if I'm saying his name right. He won for his role in Oppenheimer. Mm-hmm. Did you ever see The Holdovers with Paul Giamatti? So Divine Joy Randolph won for a female actor in a supporting role.
There's a guy in The Holdovers. His name is Kelly Aucoin.
Okay.
And he's going to be on the Mark Thompson show on Thursday.
How do you spell his name? Kelly
Aucoin, Aucoin. And I've been emailing back and forth with him to try to get him on that show. And he's super funny. He's really
been
nice.
In other things. I know him. Yeah, he's been on a lot of different things. He always kind of plays an A. Yeah, he was in Billions. Which is a really good show if you've never watched it. So that's awesome. Awesome. Robert Downey Jr. won for his role in Oppenheimer. And then did you hear he was getting criticized for his speech, his acceptance speech?
Yeah, he said thank you to Mel Gibson and people didn't like that.
Here's the thing. So Mel Gibson really helped Robert Downey Jr. out when he was kind of on the down. And I was kind of torn about this. I was kind of mulling around in my mind. I think that on a public figure aspect, Mel Gibson, no bueno, right? If you know him, I think, and he's helped you, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. And it's not like he went on a whole long, Mel Gibson is great. It was literally a list of people he was thanking. And it was like Kim McAllister, Mark Thompson, you know what I mean? Mel Gibson. It wasn't like he was like, oh my God, Mel Gibson. It was just in the list. And I think that if you have something that like a guy has helped save your life.
Yep.
That's it. That's fine. And it's your moment. Like, it's whatever.
Personal.
Exactly. And I don't have any problem with it. I thought it was a bit much.
Know what's happened between those two.
Exactly.
Or what their personal relationship is.
Yeah.
And you can have a relationship with someone and think, maybe I don't agree with everything they've done in their life, but we have a relationship separate than that.
Exactly. I had no problem with it. And it just sucks when people are like, you should not take away the spotlight from Robert Downey Jr.'s win simply because he chose, which is his right to do, to thank somebody that he had a relationship with. So yeah, I'm just kind of over. Not that I'm over Mel Gibson and how terrible of a person he can be. I don't know Mel Gibson. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know the guy. And so I'm not going to just kind of pass judgment on the relationship he has with Robert Downey Jr. So there you go. Let's see what else. Succession won. I love that show. I think they totally should have won. Ooh, you'll like this. Elizabeth Debicki won for her role in The Crown. I guess she played Diana.
Ooh, yeah.
So you like her. Pedro Pascal won for The Last of Us. He's like,
That was a
He's
good.
in.
I'm telling you, it was good.
Yes.
It was hard to watch at some points, but very good. And I'm looking forward to the sequel.
Me too. And then the Bear won for best ensemble in a comedy series, which again, I always have a problem with this. I do not consider the Bear a comedy.
I haven't seen it.
It's so good, but I just don't consider it a comedy. Although
I refuse to pay for Hulu.
is that what? Yeah, it is on Hulu probably. Io Adebri, she is also in the Bear. She won for female actor in a comedy series. I really like her. And then Jeremy Allen White won for male actor in a comedy series for that. But again, just taking that for the comedy aspect, it's weird to me. Another thing that I haven't watched, I think I started it and never finished it. Did you see Beef? It's with
Beast?
Beef, Beef, Beef.
Oh, I didn't see it. No.
It's with Ali Wong. She won for female actor in a limited series, and then Stephen Yoon won for the male actor in the same series of Beef.
I heard it's really good though.
I did too, but I don't know why. Anybody in the comments watch it? Is it worth it? Because I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, I keep seeing it on my screen. I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch it. So, but maybe I will. It keeps winning awards.
It's about a disagreement, a fight.
Yeah, Beef.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Hey, I mean, it could have been an anti-vegetarian flick. I don't know.
It could have. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. Haven't seen that, but apparently that won for stunt ensemble in a motion picture. The Last of Us won for stunt ensemble in a TV series. So those were all the winners of the SAG Awards. I'm bummed I didn't watch it though. I voted, but I didn't watch it. You got to watch Beef. It's the greatest show ever. Okay, Lee. I mean, it's one of those things. You know what's also on my list that I haven't watched? And I know when I say this, everyone's going to be like, oh my God, you have to watch it. Yellowstone.
Oh, I loved it.
I know, and I haven't.
And it's dark, and I don't usually like dark stuff, but it's wonderfully human nature at its weirdest, rawest, angriest core.
Yeah,
I liked it.
I keep seeing clips, you know what I mean? Like funny clips between, the main characters or whatever, the blonde chick and the main guy. I just haven't watched it. Liz Riley says, oh, Beef is about road rage. Oh, okay, maybe. Lori says Beef was too intense for me. Acting is really good, but I haven't finished it yet. It's pretty draining to watch. You know how I like my scary movies. So maybe 1883, the prequel, Natalie also loved. Okay.
Yes, shocking how good it was. I didn't know what I was getting into, and I was just blown away by how good it was. Violent, and again, raw, but excellent. And the acting in that is amazing.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll put that on the watch list. You know what else I did watch last night, actually? And it's so sad, Kim. And it's what we talked about on Friday. I watched that Where is Wendy Williams documentary. Kind of binge watched the whole thing last night. I was just like exhausted. And so I was just laying in bed and it was on. So if you don't know, Wendy Williams, she lost her show. She has apparently the same thing that Mel Gibson has, frontotemporal dementia and progressive aphasia. She apparently, they started off thinking she had alcohol-induced dementia. Huge. I don't want to say like huge in a good way, but alcoholic, really, really bad. And what's, I don't know, for lack of a better word, interesting about the documentary is they started filming it because they were going to film her return to television. And then that did not happen. And so there was a part in the documentary where dementia was mentioned for the first time. And I think they were kind of having this, is this the right thing to do to be filming this woman going through all these things? But it's really sad. It's an interesting dissection into how this happens slowly and how confusing it is for people that are close to her. Like, she has this one manager who was kind of her guardian, right? And she would just, before they knew like the whole dementia, all of a sudden, she'd be talking normally, and then she'd get really, really angry. There's this one scene where this woman's doing her nails and she's being really nice to the young lady. And then all of a sudden she's like, I only want one coat. And then she's like, why are you so stupid? And it's just going from 0 to 60 and then back again. And she's like, thank you so much. You're sweet. Da, da, da. And it's, so sad because you could see that she's not in her right mind. And then she has the eye bulging. And when you compare pictures of her from earlier to now, obviously some sort of medical conditions causing that. And it's just really sad because, you know, she might not have been everybody's cup of tea with the type of talk show she did. You know, it was very, you know, pop culture, celebrity focused, but she enjoyed it. And you could tell how much she just really wanted to return to television. And she kept saying September. And it never happened to her. And it's never going to happen for her. And it's so friggin' sad.
I don't know, Scott, if this is about addiction. He says it's sad about Wendy, but it's the power of addiction.
She is an addict. I mean, an alcoholic.
Okay.
I mean, there was a scene where towards the end, so I mean, she already knows there's something wrong with her. She shouldn't be drinking, and she really loves her alcohol. I mean, you know, when you go to a bar and you get bottle service and they bring you those big bottles, she'd have one in her bed empty. You know what I mean? Like, that's how much alcohol she was drinking and hiding it, obviously, and people finding it. And then her family trying to keep alcohol away from her. And I'll also say this, I think what's also hard about becoming sober, especially when your family isn't, is just you're surrounded by alcohol. And people just order a drink, and to them, it's no big deal because it's just part of the kind of social contract of going out. We're going out to eat. Let's get a glass of wine or whatever. And then you realize, like, no, I need to get a Coca-Cola or something else, a water, because I'm sitting with somebody who will just grab your drink, right? Like, just order it and just start drinking. And then some people not having your best intentions. There was this other woman that's part of her team that took her on a meeting in LA without her manager to start the show again. And it never happened, and it didn't go well. And she should have never taken that meeting. But the woman, I don't think she meant anything malicious, but just wasn't the person to do it. And so anyways, I liked it. I thought it was really worth watching. I do after it, I was like, did they really need to document this? But there is a point where you realize they started this for one reason, and then it just took on a life of its own when she got diagnosed. So really sad. Heart goes out to the Williams family. You know, I do think she has a great family around her that's watching her ass and is really trying to protect her from all of this. So thankfully, she has that. But yeah, it was just really sad. Okay, we have a couple of headlines. I think I'm hearing an echo. Do you have your speaker up? It's like so distracting to me. No. Okay, you don't have. Okay, I don't know what it is, but if anyone else is hearing an echo, I hear it too. I'm sorry.
I don't hear it.
You don't. I know. I think we're looping in some way, but anyways. Okay, so we'll do some headlines. We'll do some politics. Oh, by the way, I wanted to mention this. I know it's not Friday food, but today's the day. I'm warning you all now. If you want free Buffalo Wild Wings, they are giving away wings because they made this promise years ago that if the Super Bowl ever went into overtime, they would give free wings to everybody.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, that was a big bet because it hasn't gone on into overtime, only twice now? Or
something like that. I think, I think it happened. This is the second time it's ever gone into overtime. So if you want your free wings, it's going to be an S show. I would never do this. Only between 2 and 5 local time today. And you have to do dine in or in-person carry out. So you have to go to the restaurant. So it's going to be an S show. I mean, if you want, I feel like it's not worth my time because it's going to be a long line. But if you love Buffalo Wild Wings, I do, but I'm not waiting in line. Today is the day to get that. So there's I don't know how many either. I was looking for that too. It says you'll give free wings to everyone who came into the game. It doesn't say the number. I bet if you just go on the website, it'll tell you, but I'm on the news report. So yeah, just go get your free wings today. Buffalo Wild Wings, I'm just going to say, I love their sauces. It always takes forever to get the food. So I can only imagine today is going to be absolutely worse. Okay, let's do some headlines. When we come back, we'll also talk some politics. Of course, Nikki Haley, no surprise, did not win the South Carolina primary. So tomorrow is the Michigan primary, which she says she's going to stay in. Next Tuesday is Super Tuesday. I think she's going to at least go to Super Tuesday. But again, the court cases are just racking up for Trump. The Stormy Daniels case is starting at the end of the month. So, you know, maybe she's just hedging her bet and she's like, screw it. Even if people are going to not, even though I may not win, I'm going to continue to try and stay in just in case Trump gets out. Oh, and thank you, Luis. It's 6 wings from Buffalo Wild Wings if you want to get your free wings. All right. Click the thumbs up button. We'll talk politics and so much more. But first, let's take a look at some headlines.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Maduro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
Well, let us start back with the armed barricaded suspect causing an active shelter in place for a neighborhood in San Pablo. This is still ongoing. It has been since about 3 o'clock this morning in the Montalvan Manor area, which is near Rachel and Heather Roads in San Pablo. So people are advised, stay inside, keep the doors and windows locked. There's an armed barricaded suspect, apparently, on Rachel Drive. So the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Department is asking people to really be safe, to keep the doors and windows locked. They also want folks to stay off the phone and not to call 911 unless they've got a life-threatening emergency. One person did say they heard gunshots near the scene earlier. So no reports of any injuries at this time. The school there, Montalvan Manor, is closed down for the day because of this whole situation that has been unfolding all morning long. We'll keep our eye on it, and if that changes, we'll let you know.
Is San Pablo, again, I'm not trying to judge a whole neighborhood by one incident. I know nothing about San Pablo. Is it a nice affluent area? Is it, I don't know. Do we know?
Parts of it are okay. Yeah, San Pablo is sandwiched in between Richmond and El Cerrito.
Okay.
You know, I think of it as San Pablo Dam Road off Interstate 80 near Highway 4.
Okay.
Kind of
the
there.
Traffic. There's the traffic lady
I know,
for you.
I know.
I don't know anything about that
area. It's not so bad, and there's some beautiful views of the bay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just trying to put it in perspective, because we talk about certain areas like Oakland or whatever that have, like, is this unusual for this area? I have no idea, but okay. Yeah. We'll keep our eye on it.
They're doing something interesting in Los Gatos. They are putting homeless people in hotels, kind of like what happened during the pandemic in San Francisco and other places.
Right.
They say, listen, sometimes all you need is a good night's sleep and a shower, something to get back up and get yourself ready for the world. So the Los Gatos Town Council approved funding for this hotel program about a year ago. They've got $50,000 of American Rescue Plan funding that they're putting toward homeless services. And they've got a hotel
one night
program.
Stay in a hotel, or are they housing them there?
It's unclear to me how long they get to stay.
Okay. All right. Well,
it's a brief reprieve. So I don't think it's a long stay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the idea of moving people around so much, because are there going to be services for it? I just feel like sometimes it's a waste of money. One of the things we're voting on.
Imagine that you got a shower and a bed to sleep in for a night. Would you not have a new perspective and feel like, okay, how can I make this happen every day?
Kim,
I don't know.
I mean, if a shower and a good night's sleep could solve our homeless mental drug abuse problem,
a lot of times.
I mean, well, for us, but I'm just saying, let me do the flip side. Wouldn't I be kind of pissed if you gave me a bed and a shower for a night, and then you're like, okay, hope that changed your life around. Like,
back to the streets for you, sucker.
Glad you're clean now. The bugs will not get you. I mean, come on.
The program provides a select group of unhoused people temporary hotel rooms during extreme weather conditions. So the recent atmospheric river type of thing. I don't know.
I mean, that's a good idea to get people off the street for the weather and things like that. Yeah. I'm just saying, Prop 1, which is on the ballot, right? I mean, it's a consolidation, I think, of services, kind of a top-down approach. And there's critics of it that say, no, it's going to get rid of the mental health services, all these different organizations. But I'm just saying, and I've said this before, we've tried the myriad of organizations and nonprofits to handle all of the problems associated with homelessness, whether it's drug, mental health, just basically low income, losing your jobs, those sorts of things. I think that we need a different approach. I'm voting yes on Prop 1. That's just me. I'm just being clear with it. But I just feel like we need to not have so much piecemeal use of funds, because then that just feeds into this narrative of the homeless industrial complex where our tax dollars are being, yes, I'm fine if it's storming outside and somebody needs an emergency shelter and a shower, fine, but one day in a hotel, do you know how much it's going to cost to redo those hotels and make them, all those sorts of things? I don't know. I don't know if it's the best idea. I'm kind of torn on
It's
that.
also being run by all the religious organizations.
Open up your churches then. Get portable showers. I don't know. I don't like it, but okay.
Social media companies and the way they handle online content is the focus of a landmark U.S. Supreme Court hearing today. The court examining Republican-backed laws in Texas and Florida that were put in place over claims TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and others dislike conservative speech. Laws were enacted in 2021 after the companies banned former President Trump from the platform. The companies say laws deciding how they operate violate their First Amendment right to free speech and ban anything they want to ban.
Yeah, I have the New York Times is doing live updates on this. The latest update from David McCabe of the New York Times says Justice Barrett asks, I guess one of the attorneys, about the status of the algorithms applied by the platform to boost or deprioritize content. There's a debate about whether those algorithms make the platforms complicit in harms that result from the content they host. In cases last year, the court confronted similar questions and chose not to issue a ruling exposing the platforms to legal liability. So they're talking about, everything from First Amendment speech to the programming of the algorithms. So it's going to be interesting to watch because this could have huge ramifications for, all sorts of social media platforms. I don't know where Kim went. Hello. Hello, Kim. Oh, she might be coughing.
Sorry,
Kim
I feel like they're damned if they do and damned if they don't.
Yes, exactly.
So on one hand, we call them all before Congress in congressional hearings to say, what have you allowed on your platform?
Right.
Look at you. You're spreading lies and disinformation. And then when we turn around and we stamp out the lies and disinformation, then there's a lawsuit about, well, you're limiting my free speech. What are they supposed to do?
Right. There was in one of the updates from the New York Times, again, following it, one of the arguments made by the attorneys is if the speech is moderated or, removed by the government, that's censorship. If it's removed by a private company, that's just basically terms of service. And they're allowed to do that. Kind of like what John is saying. They have the right to ban anyone for any reason. They are not public services. They're private. And everyone who signs up must agree to their rules. If you don't like Twitter, then don't use Twitter. If you feel like your speech is being hampered and the rules, discriminate or whatever you want to call it against you, then don't use it. There's no constitutional right to use social media. There's just not.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I hope the court agrees too.
Me too.
Both President Biden and Donald Trump will be visiting the U.S.-Mexico border in Texas this week. President Biden is traveling to Brownsville on Thursday to meet with Border Patrol agents and law enforcement and local leaders there and calling for the need to pass the Senate bipartisan border security deal. Trump will be in Eagle Pass, Texas, the same day and deliver remarks, probably against passing anything. I don't know. Officials say the suspect in the death of a University of Georgia student is an illegal immigrant. Jose Ibarra, arrested for the murder of 22-year-old Laken Riley, whose body was found last week in a wooded area near that school. Ibarra is from Venezuela and reportedly came to the United States in 2022. He's now charged with felony murder, false imprisonment, kidnapping, concealing the death of another, etc. A sad situation on that one. Guess what? Donald Trump is appealing the verdict in his New York civil fraud case. And we knew that was going to happen.
Of course.
Trump's legal team filed a notice of appeal of judgment finding him liable for fraudulently inflating his net worth on financial statements. So the judge in the case recently ordered Trump to pay more than $450 million in fines and also barred the former president for 3 years from running a business in the state of New York. I'm just going to say, if the judge says you're so corrupt, you can't run a business in the state of New York, what in the Sam hell business does he have running the United States?
Thank you. Absolutely. And he's pissed. Apparently he woke up in the middle of the night railing about all these cases, wanting them halted. But because he's appealing this, apparently that the New York court district commonly requires a bond of 110% of the judgment. So he has to put up a big chunk of money to appeal this case. So, I don't know. Again, he's running for president. He's a grifter. I'm not too worried about him getting funds, but I know that the longer this drags out, especially with Nikki Haley staying in the race, which we'll talk about in a moment, it's just pissing him off. He's so mad.
This is a horrible story, and I'm sorry to have to report it, but it's good that we all know what happened. There is an active duty United States Air Force service member who died after setting himself on fire outside of the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C. It happened yesterday. Video of the scene shows Aaron Bushnell saying he will no longer be complicit in genocide. He was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. He later died. So,
yeah, it's awful.
Horrible.
And then Netanyahu, I believe, was it Meet the Press? He was on, and again, it's horrible all around. But we need a ceasefire. I mean, I think people are just so horrified with the number of people that have been killed in this conflict and want a resolution. And I keep getting news alerts where, Israel is saying within the next week or so it's going to be over. And I'm like, what does that even look like to you? So it's just a freaking tragedy. It's awful.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible. There's a story that came out recently that says there's that key figure in the fake electors plot concealed damning posts on a secret Twitter account from investigators. It's all about Kenneth Chesbrough, one of the president's former lawyers.
Uh-oh.
Apparently, he's the guy who helped come up with this whole fake electors thing in 2020.
Right.
And now CNN is reporting that he concealed a secret Twitter account from prosecutors in Michigan, hiding dozens of posts that were pretty damning, undercutting his statements to investigators about his role in this whole thing.
I swear to God, this case, it's so awful because people still think that Trump should be elected. And he was on with Brett Baer. I don't know if you guys saw this, and it's an older interview, but it's been making the rounds again.
Are you talking about Chesbrough or Trump?
Trump was on with Brett Baer, but it was about the election, and Trump kept saying, I won in 2020. And Brett Baer is trying his hardest to be like, no,
you didn't, dude.
You lost. And he's like, no, I won. And I don't know how anybody can see, especially with all this information, like you're just talking about with Chesbrough, and say, dude, it's a con. You're being conned. It's crazy.
So here's how crazy this is. Chesbrough denied using X or Twitter, denied having any alternate IDs when investigators directly asked him about it. But CNN linked him to a secret account based on numerous matching details, including biographical information regarding work, family, travels, investments. It's the account is called Badger Pundit. Badger Pundit.
Badger Pundit. Okay.
It showed a very deep interest in the Electoral College process, lined up with his private activities at the time. So we'll see if anything comes of this CNN report. But I thought that was kind of interesting.
That
really?
I swear.
What do you think you can get away with?
Yes. He's getting away with it, though.
Sister,
I swear.
Please.
Exactly.
I don't know. Guess what? Big money. Big.
Oh, is it going to pop, Kim? Is it going to pop?
It's a possibility. There's a ton of money up for grabs this week in both the Mega Millions and the Powerball drawings. No one walked away with a grand prize. Friday's Mega Millions drawing. So the jackpot now stands at $563 million.
I'll take it. Half
a million or half a
Half
billion.
a billion. Yeah. But after taxes, all that, but a $250 million maybe.
The next drawing is tomorrow.
Okay. Mega
Tonight's
Millions?
Powerball drawing is at an estimated $391 million. So,
I'll take it. Yeah. I mean, I think I can make things work. I really do. I think if I stretch and I plan and I don't eat out every day, I think I could live on that amount of money. It's just, but again, I always forget to buy the freaking tickets. So I'm just talking out my butt because I never seem to remember to buy them. So
it sounds like what Trump needs to get out of the
He's like, buy all of the
that's just about how much you need to put up the money for the jail.
Imagine if Trump won the lottery.
Oh my God.
I mean, I would just lose my mind. I would just lose my mind. That's so
That would be crazy. Oh, and before I let you go, let me just tell you that it's recall season.
Yes.
And here we go again with Governor Gavin Newsom being served the recall papers.
Stop.
Not even joking. What was it? How much did it cost us last time to do a stupid recall election that everyone knew would fail?
Are you kidding me now?
A group of conservative activists intending to serve the governor with official recall papers today It is, they say, the first step in the long, expensive process to put their efforts before the California voters.
People just don't know how to lose anymore. You know
They're
what I
called
mean?
Rescue California. Thanks to Rescue California, the taxpayers will be on the hook for another X amount of dollars for this ridiculousness.
Oh my God. What an idiot. What idiots? I'm assuming there's more than one. So
Yeah.
yeah, they say that I'm reading this in Politico. Proponents of the latest attempt, like Kim mentioned, Rescue California, pointed to Newsom's ambitions and his role as a super surrogate for Joe Biden's 2024 reelection campaign. They contend the governor's too busy occupying himself on national politics while the state is racing to close a massive budget shortfall. The LAO projected the state budget faces a $73 billion deficit, nearly double Newsom's own forecast. It's such a waste of friggin' money. It's such a waste of friggin' money. But Newsom's spokesperson says they're taking it seriously. These Trump Republicans are targeting Newsom because he's out here defending democracy.
I agree with Beth. Those
Yes.
asshats should pay for the damn special election.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And Louis as well. If they lose the recall, they should be responsible for paying for the whole bill. Yes.
Exactly. And I understand, but like, how many times are you going to, and he's not up for re-election. Like, just stop already. It's not going to happen. There's no freaking way. He's already won once. I have a video. Now, I will say this. Newsom's making the rounds, but it's a presidential election year. He's a top name Democrat. Like, I'm not surprised that he's making the rounds, but I have a number, actually, some clips actually lined up of Newsom on the national news programs, but he's acting as a surrogate for President Biden, which is what they do. It's what they do. So stop. Republicans do it as well. So it's not as if this is unheard of before.
Maybe people will be smarter this time, because to qualify for the ballot, a recall petition needs signatures to equal 12% of the turnout in the last election for governor. So they will have to collect 1.38 million verifiable signatures by May to get on the November ballot. And I would argue, listen, even if you don't like Governor Newsom, don't sign that petition, because you know it's going to cost us, and you know he's not going to get recalled.
Thank you.
I mean, it's just we're spinning our wheels and doing nothing.
I don't think people are going to sign it. They're like, this again? No, we did this already.
Right,
And it was a landslide in favor of Newsom. It wasn't even freaking close. So just stop. Stop wasting taxpayer dollars. I love these people like, oh my God, we're in such a budget deficit. How about this? Stop wasting our money on recall efforts. It's so stupid. Exactly. Vote them out. Don't do these stupid recalls.
Yeah.
Win elections. That's it. Just win an election. That's all you got to do. Idiots.
This report is sponsored by you.
You.
Usted, too. Yes, please support us. TheNikkiMaduroshow.com. TheNikkiMaduroshow.com is our website, and that is where the Patreon link lives and the PayPal information lives. We got it all because this is how we support ourselves and keep this show rolling right along like a finely tuned engine that it is. So find us at TheNikkiMaduroshow.com and help us keep on going. Thank you very much. I'm Kim McAllister. This is The Nikki Maduro Show.
All right, so let's talk a little bit of politics. So again, not surprising to anybody, Nikki Haley did not win the South Carolina primary. Michigan's presidential primary is tomorrow. We're not anticipating too many surprises with this, although there is an option for Michigans to pick uncommitted, which could, obviously give fodder to one side or the other. There's also the fact of what's happening in Israel and Gaza. Is that going to kind of sway voters one way or the other? I kind of feel like if you're against the fact that Joe Biden hasn't called for a ceasefire, it's not as if Donald Trump is your guy either. So that's going to be another issue to closely watch as well. Republicans, though, they do seem to be kind of split, not with Trump, although there is, at least from everything that I keep reading, a little bit of discontent, for lack of a better word, of Trump meddling in the border bill and things like that. And then obviously all of his legal problems are concerning to a lot of Republicans. But at this weekend's Conservative Political Action Conference, there was a lot of discussion over who President Trump should choose as his vice president. So South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem and former presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy tied for first place during a straw poll, but they could only garner 15%. Then third place went to Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard. Now, Gabbard has been criticized by both the right and the left. Apparently, she was a huge Bernie Sanders supporter, and now she's a huge supporter for Donald Trump. So she kind of likes the extremes. Trump called Gabbard a fighter during his CPAC speech earlier in the week. And then fourth place was Elise Stefanik, and then Tim Scott. During CPAC, Trump said, Tim Scott's sitting there, and I'm telling you, it has to be so humiliating for him. Trump said something to the effect of, Tim Scott isn't good. He doesn't campaign good for Tim Scott, but he does campaign good for me. And it's just like, and Tim Scott just has to sit there with this stupid smile on his face, like, yep. And it's like, dude.
And honestly, this is the best we can do. This is the best they can do.
It's so stupid.
The crazy wackadoodles of the world, this is the best they can do.
Yeah, this is basically the best they could do. Now, Nikki Haley, though, she continues to say that even if she drops out, she will never be the running mate for Donald Trump. Do you think she's full of crap? Do you think that if she drops out, you don't think she'll take it?
I think she understands. She's bright enough to understand what he means for America. Mm-hmm. I truly feel that she understands the ramifications of a Trump presidency. I do. I don't think she's like, we disagree politically on almost everything, but she's not an idiot. And she's not a like Trump Kool-Aid drinking moron.
I don't think that she is, but this is my
no offense.
point. If Trump makes her the running mate and then Trump can't be president, then she gets to be president. So that's the only reason why I'm like,
you would have to align yourself with him. You would have to tie yourself.
She did already. She worked for him.
Yeah, but
come on.
But only as the UN ambassador, right? I mean, it's not like she was part of the administration and she resigned. Didn't she resign? Like, I don't know. I feel like she wouldn't tie herself politically to him anymore. Like he carries so much baggage and has so much after January 6th and after all these trials and charges against him.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm giving her too much credit, but I don't think she would hitch her, what is it,
horse
to his wagon. Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, we'll see. Now look. It's a long shot. I guess there was I was watching a Daily Show episode last week, and Desi, I forgot her last name, was the host. And she was like, Nikki Haley makes a really good case on why Nikki Haley's not winning. Like, she just keeps like, people told me that there's no path and this. And then she's just going down the laundry list of why she should drop out. But again, she's the only one that still is in the race officially against Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is facing huge problems. If she can make it another month to 2 months, now, of course, the math might not work for her. She might not get the delegates. Super Tuesday is going to be a huge thing. I don't know if she could stay in after Super Tuesday, math wise. It just pisses me off that the Republican Party couldn't find anybody else. But so she says she's going to stay in the race at least through Michigan. And then I think she says after that, we're going to go to Super Tuesday. And then after that, I have no idea if there's really a path for her. And then on the Democratic side, this story, Kim, when I read it, I was so mad. Because it goes with actually a more, not local, but state story here in California. So first, Congressman Dean Phillips, he's the Democratic rival to Joe Biden, even though he gets like 1%, right? There's no way he's going to win the nomination. He admitted.
It's like, dude, what are you even doing?
But listen to this. He admitted that he commissioned a fake Biden AI robocall. Last week, a magician named Paul Carpenter claimed he was paid $150 by a consultant for Dean Phillips to create a robocall that encouraged New Hampshire voters to stay home in their state's primary, and it used an AI-generated version of Biden's voice. So Phillips denied knowledge of it and then threatened legal action. But over the weekend, he admitted he did do it. But he said, this is what he said. He claimed he planned the fake robocall from the start as an act of civil disobedience to call attention to the dangers of AI in politics. He compared himself to American revolutionary heroes Paul Revere and Thomas Paine. He said more enforcement is necessary to stop people like him from doing what he did. He said in the interview, this is a way for me to make a difference. And I have. For $500, I got about $5 million worth of action, whether that be media attention or regulatory action. That is insane.
First of all, if that was the case, why didn't you step up and admit it at the time?
Right. Like, why were you? I think that there was a paper trail. Exactly.
Why were you trying to deny it? You were trying to get away with crap.
It was an admission that I was like, what in the hell are you doing? What are you doing? AI, and I know that we keep talking about the applications of it and people are saying, oh, it's going to be a job killer. Look, AI is here. I was listening to one news report about how teachers are not trying to shun it because there's no way of doing that, but one, come up with tools to find it, and two, to incorporate it in a healthy way, similar to the internet, right? Like similar to all these sorts of other kinds of tools. Later on in the show, I want to talk about this crazy story out of Beverly Hills where AI is being used, but it's here. And I just can't believe Dean Phillips thinks that this story makes him look good. And you're a Democrat. Like, what the F is wrong with you?
It seems like he was going... life was going along for him. The people in his district were happy. It was fine. And then you start getting, I don't know, too big for your britches.
Maybe, or desperate.
What you think.
Yeah.
And so you decide you're going to be the one to challenge the 80-year-old president. And so then you start doing weird stuff. And now the people of your district are looking at you askance like, who do we elect? Who is this person?
Exactly.
Is this the person we want? And so now he's got a problem because when he's next up for re-election, I would think the voters of his district are going to try to say, no, thanks.
Why are you trying to lie to us? Why are you trying to lie to the American people? Why would you try to undermine President Biden, who's going up against someone that is a threat to our democracy, and Donald Trump? Like, Dean, you're a moron. This was and it was only $150. Now, I will get, if he had come out in immediately and said, this is what I did, look what I was able to do for $150. Because remember, when the whole Facebook and Russian thing, how they were able to buy ads for such a small amount of money, and they were able to get into so many people's Facebook pages, right, with ads and misinformation. That's fine. I understand if that's the point you're trying to make. I think this is just covering his butt, right? I think he's just like, oh, I'm Paul Revere. I'm trying to show people how AI is dangerous. Screw you, dude. You were trying to undermine President Biden, and no one's buying your BS excuse right now. Maybe you had it in your back pocket as a reason if you got caught, but I'm not buying it. And I think that it's disingenuous. And this is not the way to convince people that you are a responsible enough human being to be president of the United States. I don't want a president that is trying to fool me. I want a president, damn it, that speaks the truth. I'm done.
We already have enough boneheads on the ballot, right? Too many boneheads on the ballot as it is. Let's come on.
Stop. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. But again, I think the Democratic Party, similar to the Republican Party, just in the fact that they're so conflicted because Biden doesn't poll well. He doesn't poll well. So people are like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Screw the polls. Vote for Biden because Trump is an idiot and he's dangerous to our democracy. Now, back to Governor Newsom. I do think that Governor Newsom he's really effective on the national stage. Obviously, he has White House aspirations. Do I think in any way, shape, or form he's going to run and he's going to replace Joe Biden? No, but he will continue to be asked the question.
Let's talk about you, Governor. Days after that special counsel report came out questioning the president's age and his memory, the Washington Post reported that anxious Democrats reached out to top Biden donors to ask, quote, when is Gavin getting in? Or how about Whitmer or Shapiro? The buzz has not stopped. I know you've been asked this before, but do you still rule out a run in 2024?
You got to be kidding. I am here celebrating the extraordinary accomplishments.
Can I just pause? I love his acting, because not that he's acting, but like so offended that you would ask.
Of the Biden-Harris administration, making the case that we need to make to lift up the issues, lift up the record, drive contrast with the Republican nominee to be Donald Trump,
Have you gotten
so that
any
we can win
calls?
for 4 more years.
Have you gotten any calls, Governor, encouraging you to run?
It's all idle chatter. It's all you know what? That's a sideshow. I think what Democrats need to do is worry less, do more, continue to overperform as we have, continue to win, make the case. Don't be ashamed of 4.1% GDP over the last 2 quarters. Don't be ashamed about the alliance management of the Biden-Harris administration. Don't be timid about making the case for the record of this administration.
So you're ruling it out 100%.
I mean, it's not even an interesting conversation.
Not even an interesting
and by the way, I think
conversation.
it's a damning conversation. Frankly, the other side wants us to have. And trust me, I know the mishigosh coming from the other side. I'm deeply mindful of the anger machine and all the entertainment industry out there on Fox and elsewhere that love ginning this stuff up. At the end of the day, not only has this train left the station, but we get to enjoy a record of accomplishments as we make the case in a re-election, the likes of which we couldn't have even dreamt of, even as a Democrat last century.
I think he makes an excellent point for the fact that the GOP wants us to continue to talk about people like Gavin Newsom and other people to step in if something happens to Joe Biden, because Kamala Harris is be afraid of a Kamala Harris presidency, when again, that whole narrative, go ahead, figure out why people don't like Kamala Harris. It's either sexist or racist or nonsense. There is nothing about Kamala Harris that is so vastly different than current President Biden that Democrats should be so afraid. Now, Gavin Newsom, though, is quite effective. Apparently, he has launched an ad, and this has to do with something we talked about a lot last week, which is the ruling by Alabama that frozen embryos are children. I mean, it was so ridiculous. It was so ridiculous that even Donald Trump himself is like, no. And I will give Donald Trump that. At least he came out and said it. Like, no, we are for families. It's ridiculous. But watch this ad. And for those of you just listening, you're just going to have to listen to the ad. But again, this is what Gavin Newsom is good at. So, a girl sitting in a hospital room crying. There's a rape kit right next to her, a sexual assault evidence kit, and she's handcuffed to the bed.
Help! Trump Republicans want to criminalize young women who travel to receive the reproductive care they need. Don't let them hold Tennessee women hostage. Take action at righttotravel.org.
And here's Gavin Newsom. He's on with, I believe it's Jake Tapper, talking not just about Alabama.
That's a hell of a commercial.
That's a hell of a commercial. And about, reproductive freedom.
What about the right of people that want to start a family? And think about this, Jake. You know this. Everybody knows this. You saw the stats. 65,000 births due to rapes since Dobbs in 14 states. Apparently, what the Republican Party is saying is the rapists have more rights to bring those babies to birth than families that are trying desperately to have the privilege you and I have had as fathers and parents. It is a disgrace, and it's a political problem for them, but it's a moral issue. And I found what happened in Alabama disgusting. And by the way, you have an AG in Alabama that also is out there promoting a travel ban that wants to criminalize travel for anyone that seeks an abortion out of state. That's how extreme the state of the Republican Party is.
Yep.
So again, yeah, I mean, I just feel like he makes his point very clear. And Mario, you're correct. The only reason Trump came out against the embryo ruling was because he saw the backlash, because also it's absolutely ridiculous. I think that even someone like Donald Trump can see that it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for people to treat frozen embryos and give them the same rights as children. And we don't need to go over the reasons for that. We did that ad nauseum last week. But they're not children. They're not. They are the promise of children, but that's it.
Crazy crazies. Keep making those rulings. Go ahead.
And I just don't understand how that works.
You keep doing it. Let's see how that rolls out for you in the next election. Let's see. Because I believe that if you do this, that women will stand up and say, no, you're not doing that to us. How many of you know someone who went through IVF? I mean, you know me.
Yeah, exactly. You
How
guys all
many
know at
of
least
you
one
have
person.
friends or family or someone in your life that you've seen struggle that's gone through it? These are now a whole, we have the people that went through abortions, right? How many of us know someone who's had that happen, right? Now, how many of you know someone who's struggled with reproductive rights and reproductive issues? So I think this is a whole new group of people, women in general, who will stand up and say, I can't vote for this.
Yeah.
I can't vote for these people. I just
Exactly.
can't. So as far as I'm concerned, you go ahead, crazy Alabama Supreme Court, holy roller, wackadoodle freak show. Go ahead and make those rulings and see what happens.
John says people will not vote for Biden or Gavin, even though Gavin's not running, because of their policies on energy production, the border, and foreign policy. Accomplishments are things better or worse since Biden's taken office. They're better. They are. I mean, just like Gavin Newsom was laundry listing, our economy, inflation is cooled. Our economy is much better. It just seems that because the GOP doesn't want to look, the GOP doesn't want to talk about the economy, John. They don't want to talk about the economy. Why don't they want to talk about the economy? Because the economy is doing well. Now, inflation is cooling. That doesn't mean that private companies are going to lower their prices. And Biden has no control of you getting ripped off. That's the truth. And we're going to talk about this in just a moment even more, because there is consumer backlash on companies, let's say like Frito-Lay's, right? Or cereal makers who are charging in that shrinkflation where you're paying more for less. And that's a company decision. That is not a democratic decision. And there's no control that Biden has over that. But consumers are doing something that's very interesting. So we'll talk about that. As far as the border, John, absolutely. I think that a case could be made that Biden doesn't want to do anything about the border. But unfortunately, the GOP shot themselves in the foot by denying the first significant border bill in decades simply because it was a presidential year. So I ask you, John, does the GOP think that the border crisis is an actual crisis? Because if my house was on fire, I wouldn't care if it was a Democrat or a Republican bringing me water. That's the truth. So either they're full of crap or they don't want to solve the problem. And if they don't want to solve the problem, then there is no issue. There is no issue. So I just, and then as far as energy production, we could debate that. I think that it's fair to say that a move towards solar at a time when Californians are paying astronomical prices for PG&E is a policy decision that we can have. But we also have to include climate change in that. Climate change is a true issue, and it's facing our generations. And I hate when the GOP talks about the budget and it's saddling our children and grandchildren when they can give a rat's ass about the climate, which is also going to decimate our children, which is going to lead to environmental migration. People are not going to be able to live in parts of the world. And then those more favorable parts of the world are going to see an influx of people. And are we able to handle that? So there's a number of things that we can debate if we're just being honest and fair about it. And the border, sorry, the GOP took a big L on that one by not passing that bill. All right. Okay. Did I have anything else that I wanted to show about this? Okay, no. Let's move on then, since I was just talking about the economy. And again, inflation, which I will completely admit, it's annoying. It's annoying to go to the grocery store and pay so much more money. It's annoying that people make six figures and still feel very low middle class, right? That is so frustrating and it's hard for people. But apparently, in recent months, there has been a huge pushback on companies, and it's by consumers changing the way they shop. How many of you are loyal to brands, right? Like, I will only buy Heinz ketchup. I will only buy fill in the blank with that brand name. I know people, they're like, nope, I'm not sacrificing anything. I don't care if you tell me it's the same thing. I like the brand. I need the brand name. Well, about 19% on average. That's price is how high they remain on average. 19% above where they were before the pandemic. But in grocery stores, many consumers are shifting away from name brands to store brand items. More Americans are buying used cars rather than new, which means that dealers are being forced to provide discounts on new cars again because they need to move them. Just a side note, the best time to buy a car is either at the end of the month, the end of the quarter, or the end of the year. Now, the move to store brand could force some of these companies to put their prices back to where they were a few years ago. Now, there are certain things that may not. Eggs, apple, and milk are already below their peak that they were before. Milder increases in food prices should help further cool inflation, which is down sharply. Now, John, here we go. 9.1. That was inflation in 2022. It is 3.1 now. Those are just the facts. Okay. Inflation has significantly cooled. Now, consumer pushback against high prices suggests to many economists that inflation could further ease. This would make this bout of inflation markedly different than the 70s and 80s when they saw their inflation. When high inflation persists, consumers often develop an inflationary psychology. Ever rising prices lead them to accelerate their purchases before costs rise even further, which again then just fuels inflation. So this is what they're saying. Stop buying name brand stuff. Basically, last week, Kraft Heinz said sales fell in the first 3 months of last year as more consumers traded down to cheaper brands. I just went to the store, got my son because he had a sore throat. I got him some Dayquil NyQuil. I looked at the price for the Dayquil NyQuil, and then I looked at the one right next to it. That's the Safeway or Lucky's or whatever, the store brand.
Yeah.
It was almost half the price.
Same stuff in there.
Same stuff.
Same ingredients. Yeah.
Same medicine. I am
No,
not
it doesn't
buying
taste the
name
same.
brand. What?
Ketchup.
So you're a Heinz girl.
Yeah.
I'm
the
a
other
Heinz. I just buy Heinz. I just
because
it
the other
lasts
stuff
forever,
tastes
too.
kind of watery. It's not the same consistency.
I don't like, what's the other one? Hunt's? I don't like Hunt's ketchup.
No.
Now I'll give you, like, flavor wise, is it the same? You know what I do also buy though? I buy the bag cereal. Even my son grabs it instead of, like, let's say Cocoa Krispies. I'm just choosing whatever bag, but they sell it in the gigantic bags instead of the box. Get those. It's the same freaking thing.
Yeah.
Bad cereal that's full of sugar.
I also have a problem with fake Cheez-Its.
Oh, I don't.
Not that I buy Cheez-Its all the time, but I'm just saying, like, if you were to buy Cheez-Its, don't buy the fake ones.
Okay, so you guys let me know, what would you never buy the store or off-brand stuff? So Kim, you said ketchup, Cheez-Its. I'm trying to think.
At one point I would have said Q-tips. Because all the fake Q-tips always kind of are bendy and weird.
Okay,
However, and they don't feel the same, like there's not as much cotton on the end of them. But I did find a Q-tip substitute made from little bamboo sticks instead. That's a little bit more
expensive, though, I would imagine. It's not saving you any money.
No, it isn't more expensive, and the quality is fine. So I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Harry says mayo.
Mayonnaise, yeah.
Sherry says best foods mayonnaise only. Eric says, oh geez, I tried Safeway brand waffles instead of Eggos once and they were vile.
Sometimes you just can't.
Exactly.
Sometimes.
And that's fine. I don't want to waste my money, right? I don't want to buy something and been like, oh, this is gross, and I'm throwing it away. So now I've wasted food. I've wasted money. I mean, not that I throw the food away. I just have to, like, shove it down my throat and probably eat it all on my own. Because when you have kids, unless you trick them and put, like, the name brand into the bag or box, you know what I mean? Like, swap it. They're not gonna do it. Louise Scotch. Am I loyal? I am not one of those people. I will say this. I am not one of those people. For instance, I drink vodka. Okay. That's so loyal to the brand. But I will tell you, liquor prices have gone significantly higher.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
For, like, I'm just like, it used to be, they closed the Rite Aid that I used to go to. But it used to be Rite Aid had the best liquor prices. Just hands down. If I needed to go pick up a bottle of booze, Rite Aid had pretty good deals. Then all of a sudden they weren't. And I just was like, we're not going top shelf for all of that kind of stuff. But I'm not one of those people like, oh my God, the cheap vodka, you're going to, feel it more in the morning. I don't subscribe to that belief. Some people swear by it. I don't. But again, I'm not going through bottles and bottles and bottles like I'm going through boxes and boxes of waffles, right, for my kids. Donna says fake Cheerios are not as good. Okay, I'll do that. Joe Blow says coffee. You're talking to someone who doesn't drink good coffee. I admit it. It's something that I just put it in my mouth. I drink it and I'm good. I drink instant coffee. I know you guys hate it, but I do. Melody says pasta sauce. Rayo's is the best. Buy at Costco. The size is bigger and the price is great. I like Rayo's. I think I'm pronouncing that right. They are expensive though at the grocery store. I will tell you that. We like Paul Newman's Saccaroni. My husband loves Paul Newman's Saccaroni. But I won't get ragu or Prego.
Yeah.
I really like to make my own sauce, so that's kind of why I'm a kind of a nitpicker about it.
I agree with Randy. If you are a Diet Coke drinker, only Diet Coke will do.
Soda is quite specific. I will say if and when I drink soda, I like Diet Dr. Pepper. I will say that Mr. Pibb is okay, but you never see Mr. Pibb as an option that often. So, I don't know about that. Liz says, I rarely buy household cleaners. I switched to natural homemade years ago. That's another thing, making your own. Now, if you're going to make your own stuff to save money, you need to also have the stuff to store it. And, if you're making food, can it or whatever. Lisa says Trader Joe's Cheerios are actually pretty good and half the price. What are they called?
Jozo's. Jozo's.
Jozo's.
Jozo's. It's all we buy. And I think they're organic too. Jozo's. Yeah.
I always thought, and I've said this before, I always thought that Trader Joe's was a more expensive grocery store. It is not. It is not. You can't get everything that you want there, but it's not. Let's see. Lori says, buy tomato paste or puree or make your own. I've been making my own cocktail sauce by adding horseradish and garlic to puree, and it's less additives and to my taste like that. John says, Kraft sour cream was one because I thought the store brands weren't sour enough. Andrea says, I get store brands now 90% of the time. That's what we have to do. Remember, the almighty dollar is the way you vote, right? And the way you let companies know what you like and what you don't like. And I'm telling you, buy store brands as much as possible because that may lower your name brands. If you're not buying it, they have no other choice. They have no other choice but to lower their prices. Now, if not everybody does it, then obviously we're not going to see it. It's just, it's crazy. John, I do like Tito's. I also like, Stoli, Smirnoff. I mean, I'm not too picky. I do honestly, most of the time, I just choose whichever one's cheaper. I don't go the cheap one just because I don't know, maybe the people did get in my head, but usually it's Stoli, Smirnoff, Tito's. One of those three is my choice. All right. So yeah, I do think that if we do this, then maybe the prices will go down because I definitely think it's damn about time because everything's going up. Did you see that American Airlines is raising its checked luggage fee, which I never understand. It bothers me. Okay. What about this? Instead of raising the checked bag fee, just lower the weight that you can bring, right? I can't move my house on an airplane. Yeah. Lower the weight that I'm allowed. Okay. And then let's just keep it that way. But it's getting insane. It's almost getting, depending on where you go, half the price of your ticket. So it announced last week that the price of the first checked bag on most flights is increasing to $40 for customers that didn't pay online. It will cost $35 if you do pay online during check-in. That's a 33% increase. 33%. Yeah. Now, flights within and between the United States, Puerto Rico, and U.S. Virgin Islands are all affected by the price increase. The second bag price also went up to $45. That's up from $40. This is why Southwest will always be my first choice flying anywhere. I will always go Southwest.
Places that we go, resorts or hotels or whatnot, are going to have to put in laundry facilities for people so that in your purse or your, whatever, that you can just roll up 2-3 outfits, some extra undies, and then bring it with you. And then you can just do laundry while you're there.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, nobody likes to do laundry, but it is too expensive.
Do a little laundry in that.
Most hotels have a laundry service. Yeah.
Or put it in the hotel room now. Put like a little washer dryer in the room.
I would love that. I highly doubt that's going to be available in most hotels. Now they do have laundry service, right? So if you want to get something, and they have an iron and things like that, and I guess you could spot clean and how dirty are you really getting? Wash things in the sink if you need to. It's just ridiculous.
They have at the Disneyland. Was it the Grand Californian? One of them. one of them I stayed at, they have whole laundry rooms worth like 6 or 7 washers and 6 or 7 dryers. You can do all the laundry. Your kids soiled their items.
That's
You can go
awesome.
down there and do whatever you need to do. Yeah.
I love that. I absolutely love that. But yeah, I mean, all the prices for things are going up. And again, with the airlines, it's always funny. There's that joke, right? It's, oh, this bag is over 50 pounds. So now you have to move the clothes into another bag that's going on the same plane. Like, it's not as if it's changed anything. If it's the weight that's the problem, then lower the weight. Lower the weight of what I'm allowed. That's it.
Ron has a good point. Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's ridiculous, he says. 4 adults traveling get one price. A couple with 2 kids get the same price, though the kids are lighter, but might get charged a baggage fee. Charged by weight, that is fair.
Exactly. Just tell me, okay, all told, one person, you have 50 pounds. You make it work. We're not moving here, people. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you got to do. And make it free. Like, I'm sorry, I'm flying on a plane. I'm bringing something with me. The first bag should always be free. I don't care what airline it is. The first bag should be free. You know, I love Southwest. It's all free bags, whatever. But at least one bag per person. You know I'm going to bring a bag. You have factored this into the cost of doing business. Screw you, airlines. You know I'm bringing a bag. Let me bring it. I don't have to pay any more money. Stupid. Okay, let's do some more headlines because when we come back, I'm going to switch gears just a bit. I want to talk about this program in California. Apparently, and we've known this, how they scan your license plates. You know what I'm talking about? Well, there's a class action lawsuit that wants the company that scans and sells the license plate data to pay up. And I'll tell you how to check if you can be part of the lawsuit. Apparently, I cannot, but I will let you know how you can do that because obviously these things matter. Some people, if you're selling my data, I want to be able to give permission or opt out if possible. So that's coming up. Click the thumbs up, guys. Show your support for the show. Again, the super chat is live. If you want to give us a super sticker, a super thanks, a super comment, all of that stuff adds up. And we really do appreciate it. Of course, our Patreon can be found at theNikkiMadoroShow.com. And here's Kim with some headlines.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Maduro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
Just an update to let you know the situation in the San Pablo neighborhood is still underway. This is a lockdown as neighbors are still asked to shelter in place, keep the doors and windows locked. It's ongoing. Montalvan Manor neighborhood in San Pablo. Again, the police standoff ongoing. A school in the area announced its closure for the day as well. So again, we'll keep our eye on it. And if anything changes, we'll make sure to let you know. The U.S. Supreme Court is hearing a pair of cases today that could have a major impact on social media. The cases focus on whether states like Texas and Florida have the authority to regulate what content the platforms can remove. The companies say laws deciding how they operate violate their First Amendment right to free speech. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, let me just hold on real quickly. Let me just see real quickly. I'm just looking at the updates. The Texas Solicitor General has alluded to fears among some critics of the tech giants that companies will be able to use the First Amendment to fend off a broad swath of regulation. And so they compare social media to telegraphs, which were not allowed to discriminate in what they transmitted. I am so sorry. We do not live in the same day and age. Social media is a completely different beast that we were not prepared to experience as a society so quickly. It has fundamentally changed how we communicate. It fundamentally changed how quickly information and misinformation can be spread, and there needs to be tougher rules for it. And if you don't like it, just don't be on the social media. That's it.
No, to telegraphs, huh? Were telegraphs private companies?
Well, I think they're just trying to say that this is the way information, like if I was going to take a telegraph and send it to somebody else, the telegraph company wasn't allowed to discriminate against what was on it. They've been making all sorts of First Amendment type of arguments. So it's a complicated case, but we'll see. Obviously,
it's very interesting that that's the argument that they would use. I mean, you have a private message versus a public platform, and I don't know that that those two are really comparable. So that's an interesting argument.
Justice Alito voiced concern about which case law the court should be making an analogy to. Clement, one of the attorneys, quickly responds, "This isn't the first time you're wrestling with the internet." He argues the social media companies are more like a newspaper or a parade organizer than a common carrier. And then Alito quipped back, "If YouTube were a newspaper, how much would it weigh?" It's comparing apples to oranges, in all honesty.
Yeah.
I understand the dissemination of information, but we cannot underestimate or underemphasize the quickness of it.
Yeah.
It's like comparing, and I will say this, it's like comparing a knife to a gun. Both weapons, both can kill somebody, but the speed and the swath and the number of people that can be impacted by one person with a gun versus one person with a knife is different. It just is.
I'm going to show you a picture of Ronna McDaniel.
Okay.
Because it is official. She is stepping down. Yeah.
Ooh, is she going to be in the race for vice president? I really freaking hope not.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I don't think she wants anything to do
She
with
bent the
Trump.
knee and ended up in the gutter. So there you go.
No, I don't think so. I mean, she's attached to Mitt Romney. So I would highly think that she wouldn't be anywhere near that. But the head of the Republican National Committee is indeed calling it quits, as expected.
Okay.
Ronna McDaniel announced early today that she will give up her post next month after serving as the RNC chairwoman for 7 years. So this, of course, comes after former President Trump endorsed North Carolina GOP chairman Michael Whatley for the top job.
Oh,
So
okay.
Rona's out.
Bye.
Sayonara.
Sayonara.
We hardly knew ye. Yeah, she's out. Prince Harry making some news.
Oh.
He's not going to get any preferential treatment from old Trump if Trump makes it back to the White House. The former president told the UK's Daily Express he won't protect the king's younger son if he wins in November. Trump accused the Biden administration of protecting the British royal. He said Prince Harry betrayed Queen Elizabeth, which was unforgivable.
Interesting.
What does that mean? I won't protect you. And how
I
is
know.
President Biden protecting Prince Harry? It's the craziest
People
things.
wonder about what comes out of Biden's mouth. Can we start paying more attention, please, to the nonsense that comes out of Trump's? Give me a freaking break.
Student workers in the California State University system are ready to unionize. More than 7,000 of them voted for it across 23 campuses. Most say they want to be treated better, and they feel this will allow them to fight for higher pay, more hours, and sick leave as well. The next step, create a negotiating team and present their demands to the Cal State administration. The chancellor's office says they plan to bargain in good faith.
Nice.
Getting behind the wheel drunk in California is a serious problem, but only one county is proving to be the toughest on drivers. The DMV says suspects are more likely to be convicted in Placer County than anywhere else in the state of California. The district attorney's office says it has a dedicated DUI unit prepared to file criminal charges after an arrest is made. A CHP crackdown just before Christmas sent more than 900 people to jail for DUI.
Wow. Jeez. Okay.
Well, I would say don't do it
Uber
anywhere.
Lyft
But
exists. Like, stop driving drunk. Come
No.
on, people.
search continues for a missing American couple believed to be dead after their yacht was hijacked in Grenada. Kathy Brendel and Ralph Hendry from Virginia were last seen a week ago at a beach on the island nation. Police located their boat, captured 3 escaped criminals that allegedly stole it, but haven't confirmed the couple's status, so it doesn't look good for them.
That doesn't look good, no.
Here is just the craziest story. Students at a middle school in Beverly Hills are facing disciplinary action for allegedly circulating AI-generated nudes of fellow students. An investigation continues at Beverly Vista Middle School, where the mother of one student claims many girls were targeted. She called the incidents frightening and a form of bullying that should be punished. She also said she wants the companies behind the AI technology to be held accountable too.
Yeah,
it's unclear how many students were victimized and how many were actually behind these acts, and whether any images were posted to social media or where they all ended up.
I will show you a news report in a little bit after the headlines about this, because, well, there's this one mom that was talking about it, but there's these students that, I mean, think about this. And I'm just going to say this. kids, especially our kids' age, they grew up with this technology. They understand what it can do. They grew up with filters and all sorts of things. I think there's a fundamental difference, though, when you see your face on a body and it looks so real. Now, where do we go from here? I mean, again, if there's a nude picture and somebody says, "Oh, that's not me," and everyone's like, "Yeah, that's what you're saying. That's not you."
Right.
It's just such a violation. You know what I mean? Especially, I can't even imagine what the bodies are doing and what's exposed. You know what I mean?
Humiliating for a young girl in middle school.
Exactly. It's it's awful.
That's psychologically damaging to a kid.
I would be pissed if I was the mom.
I would be livid.
Yeah.
And what about if you're the mom of the kid who did that?
Oh,
what do you do? What do you
do? That is what both sides are like one of my biggest fears. You know what I mean? Like there's no way, shape, or form that I think my kid could ever do something like that. But God, can you imagine? And I don't want to be sexist about it, but if your son is brought in for doing something like this, and because I know that girls can be vindictive too, right?
Yeah.
But if your son or daughter is brought in for doing this and humiliating someone, I would just think to myself, where did I fail? What did I do wrong? What totally did I do wrong to make my child think that this was okay to do to somebody else? It's horrifying. And what would be an appropriate punishment? Like, what is an appropriate punishment? Okay, you lose your phone, you lose internet access. How do you make your child understand the humiliation and the violation that they committed on another child? That would be my hardest thing to come up with, is something like that.
Yeah, because you don't want to do the same thing to them to show them how it feels, because that's weird.
How do you get through to them? Like,
I don't know how you do.
Any comprehension of how much you've ruined this child? Like, and then, it's awful. It's awful.
I would think, unless you're the parent that really thinks my little Joey couldn't do anything like that,
then that's the problem, right?
That's the problem. But if you realize that little Joey did this, then I think you have to pull little Joey out of school.
And then do what with him?
And homeschool little Joey, because little Joey has showed that he doesn't have the capacity to be around other students and treat them with dignity and respect.
Yeah, that's
true.
And
so little Joey has a hell of a time at home for a while.
Ugh.
And I'm not advocating physical violence, but I am advocating making academics and everything a little difficult for them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I don't know.
It's just,
I don't know how else. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known what else to do. I mean, oh my God, I would be mortified.
Jim says, when I was 13, I recall a girl who created artworks of male nudes with the face of male teachers.
Oh.
Her argument was that it was art and they were the only face she stares at all day. Interesting. So she's just imagining her male teachers naked and decided to draw them naked. Now, is a drawing the same? I would say no.
I would say no.
I would say no.
I would say it's still inappropriate, though.
Yeah, like, can you stop drawing me naked? Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
inappropriate.
So where do they get the idea of students circulating photos from social media? Exactly. Now we're talking about the Supreme Court case with social media. That's why I wanted to talk about it. It's absolutely crazy. Actually, let me just play this. I wanted you guys to hear, and then we'll finish up Kim's headlines. From some of the mom starts off this news report totally like upset like we are about this whole entire thing.
I could imagine how devastating that would be and how, frightening and terrible.
As the mom of an 8th grade girl, Jackie Kruger can only imagine the horror some Beverly Vista Middle School families are feeling days after the district notified the community some of the students here had been making deep fake porn of their classmates, superimposing the faces of middle schoolers onto AI-generated naked bodies. Her daughter was not one of the direct victims, but she says they all feel victimized.
I think it made everybody alarmed and alerted to the fact that this could happen to them. This is a form of bullying, and bullying should be reprimanded.
In a letter to families, school district leaders said in part, while the law is still catching up with the rapid advancement of technology and such acts may not yet be classified as a crime, we are working closely with the Beverly Hills Police Department. If criminal offenses are discovered, they will be addressed. Kruger says she wants the students who did it punished, but even more so, she wants the tech companies supplying the programs held responsible. California lawmakers are grappling with how to address this emerging form of exploitation. Several bills have been introduced to criminalize child sexual abuse images created by artificial intelligence. Existing laws deal with images depicting an actual child, but don't address computer-generated images.
If the onus is on them and Congress legislates in a way to protect our children, then we will all be safer.
I mean, I don't know about you, Kim, but all I ever tell my children is if you are sent something and you send something, you have committed a crime. If it is an underage person and you see them naked, that is child pornography. And I don't care if it's AI generated or not. And so, yeah, it's so frightening growing up in this generation. And there needs to be more rules. And I don't give a crap that people are like, oh, no, you do not get to create AI generated child porn with my kid's face on it. Sorry.
OCB says, I can't muster sympathy for anything Beverly Hills, which I get, because it made me think the minute I saw Beverly Hills, I thought, oh, they're boys that are entitled, that are not going to be punished. They're going to get away with it because, you know, their parents have a lot of money and whatever. Maybe not, though. Maybe that's not the case there. I don't know.
I mean, and it doesn't matter. They're children. I don't care if you grow up in an affluent area or not. These are kids. And these are kids that are going to be part of our society. If they move someplace, it doesn't matter where they live.
Our middle school teacher, Lori, writes, again, technology outpaces society's mechanisms for dealing with tech-related problems. All of this is another building the plane while flying situation. It's true.
It is, and it's
should
scary.
have thought of this before.
Well, and we can't possibly, telegraph all the different, although I will say this. If there's any new technology, somebody will use it in some way, shape, or form for sex. I just think that's why, that's why prostitution is the oldest occupation. Right? It's just, we are very sexual creatures. If there's, there's something to do and you can turn it sexual, people will. So we should have known this. But again, getting it in these kids' hands, assuming that the kids will be protected from it, it hasn't happened, and it doesn't happen, and it's sad and it's scary. It's really awful.
There's a new effort underway to end California's switch to daylight saving time.
Oh, again with this. It's like Groundhog Day every time. It's about to happen, right? I mean, we're supposed to be switching it soon.
Yeah, 2 identical bills have been introduced, one in the Assembly, the other in the state Senate. Both call for moving the state permanently to standard time. It's the third such attempt since voters approved Proposition 7 in 2018. The difference is these bills say they won't take effect until Congress acts. The move comes before everyone springs forward on March 9th.
Yeah, it's coming up. I saw this online, that the sun it won't set before 6:00 until October, and I love it. I don't know if you were out and about this weekend, but it was just gorgeous this weekend. And because I know rain's coming, I was like, enjoy it now. We took the dog out. It was just, I need my vitamin D. I need my sunshine. I need at least it to be in the 70s, right? It's just, I don't like it when it gets dark early. I don't like it. That's my vote. But
your little ponytail is swishing today. It's very cute.
It's a little up in a clip. It's not actually a ponytail, but thank you.
Yeah. The whole AT&T outage?
Yes.
$5 for your trouble.
I know. That's apparently how much it costs per day. My ass, it costs $5 a day.
$5 for your time and trouble. That doesn't seem like enough. AT&T is going to provide customers affected by Thursday's network outage a $5 credit. In a statement on its website, the cell provider said customers will receive it within 2 billing cycles. It'll take them a while to get you your $5. AT&T says a software update is to blame. The service disruption started early Thursday. It was a major headache for a lot of people with phone services limited. GPS maps failed. Some 911 calls didn't go through. AT&T, that would be, serves more than 100 million customers, according to their website.
I mean, come on. How many cycles do we need just to get $5? It's ridiculous. You'll never notice it. It doesn't matter.
$5. Cell phone doesn't work. Give you $5. No.
That's stupid. I mean,
how about I'll give you $5 to actually upgrade your system and keep it working? How about that?
It's just, again, and we were talking about how this just shows how much we need to keep landlines and everything around. I mean, it's just $5. That's it. Ridiculous. I know, John, don't spend it all in one place.
Yeah,
exactly.
$5.
Exactly.
I mean, if that's all your cell phone bill was, hey. That's
Yeah,
not
I
the
mean, if
case.
I got a free, yeah, and again, they're
Nothing.
like
We
for
charge
your
you nothing
trouble-
this month.
For
Now,
your trouble. What if,
now you're cooking with fire.
what if I
Yeah.
lost an account because my internet was out? Like, what if
Right.
you cost me actual money? Do I
Mhm.
get anything for that? No, you'll just take your $5 and be done. Sorry, that's what happens. It's ridiculous.
Debbie loves daylight savings for the same reason you do,
Yep.
Nikki. Love my sun and sunscreen.
I put sunscreen on my face every single morning, and sometimes I'm like, why did I bother? No, I'm just kidding. But
Well,
it just sucks, you know?
We're
It
going
sucks.
we're going back to the sun.
Yes.
Because a total solar eclipse will darken skies across America this spring.
Yeah.
It is April 8th. Americans in 15 states will be able to see the moon almost totally cover the sun, casting a shadow over it and creating the effect of a fiery ring in the sky.
Yeah.
Some of the states in the path, Texas, Oklahoma, Illinois, Ohio, New York, and Maine, viewers in other states will be able to see a partial solar eclipse.
Right. And I mean,
So-
they're already hotels all along that,
Mhm.
you know, the totality path. They're
Mhm.
already booked up. And some of these towns are small. They're freaking out about the influx of people that are going to come because it's probably, I would say, at least 24 to 48 hours of a lot of
Mhm.
people visiting your town that may not be up to snuff. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I would obviously want to go to a small town where there may not be a lot of people so I can get a nice spot. I've never seen a total eclipse. That is definitely on my bucket list. So I'd love to see that.
Lastly, today is Pistachio Day.
Oh, I love me some pistachios.
So congratulations and eat up.
They're really good. They're the good fat. Apparently, you can't eat too many. I always to slow myself down. I get the shelled ones because you can buy them already unshelled. And yeah, then I'm eating way too many.
You gotta slow
pistachios.
yourself down a little bit. by
They're
having
like
to-
yeah, it's like chips. You know, you can, once you
Yeah.
start eating pistachios, you
That's
can't
it?
stop eating pistachios. They're just and they're water intensive. They're just they're an indulgence. I will say that absolutely.
This report is sponsored by you, which means we do rely on you to help us fund the Nikki Maduro Show. Find all the details you need at thenikkimaduroshow.com. Again, the website, thenikkimaduroshow.com. You can see it on your screen. NIKKIMEDORO, thenikkimaduroshow.com. I'm Kim McAllister, and it is, what? The Nikki Maduro Show.
Now, I will disagree with somebody really quickly before I get to the license plate story. Just give me the truth. I'm going to give you the truth. The walnuts, no, they are not the king of nuts. I will say walnuts, they give me the heebie-jeebies. Every time I eat a
Really?
walnut, it's just... there's something about a walnut that I just don't care. And I'll eat it. Like if it's in a brownie and it's just a little bit, okay. I prefer it without it.
Yeah.
But if I just eat a straight walnut, there's something about it I don't like.
What
It
about-
like
what
literally
about-
sends a shiver up my spine.
Really?
Yeah,
What
I don't
about-
like it.
What about candied walnuts in a salad?
Ooh, I'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would prefer. You know what? The only time I really eat that, and it's because you just mentioned it, honey walnut prawns from Chinese place. I will eat the walnuts there, but I'll only eat a couple. But a plain, just cracked the nut walnut, there's something about it. It doesn't sit right with me.
So
I don't like it.
I have two favorite nuts. No, don't get your mind in the gutter now. I like the macadamia nut.
I love the macadamia nut. Yes.
And I like the cashew.
I like cashews.
Mm-hmm.
I like, if I had to choose one, if I had to choose a nut that I would eat more than any of the other nuts, I would have to say almonds. I like almonds. They're really yummy. I don't like walnuts. I love cashews. I like peanuts, roasted, salted peanuts.
Yeah.
Bomb. I love peanuts like crushed on ice cream or sundaes or something like that. But I just don't. I like pecans, however you want to pronounce it. I like those. Although it kind of is with walnuts where I don't know if I would just want to eat a pecan straight. I'd like it to be candied or in something. Butter pecan ice cream. It's funny how I say pecan, I go back and forth. Butter pecan ice cream I really, really like. That's one of my favorite ice creams. So I do like it with that. But almonds, I would say if I had to choose just one nut for the rest of my life.
Oh.
Unless it's chocolate covered macadamia nuts. I can eat chocolate covered macadamia nuts till macadamia nuts are really, really good. Those would be hard to give up, but I like almonds.
Just give me the truth is battering me with the truth this morning. Cashews are nutritionally one of the worst.
Really?
no.
Why?
I thought they were full of good fat. No,
I thought all nuts were
second to
good
walnuts.
fat.
All
I
right.
thought all nuts were good nuts. Cashews, really? Okay, well, cashews are easier on the teeth, Mindy says. So yeah. Oh yes, peanuts are legumes. Yes, that is true. That is
Oh,
true.
Just Give Me Truth makes a good point. Banana walnut ice cream, chunky monkey.
Yeah,
I
that
do
doesn't
like
appeal to
walnuts
me.
in banana bread.
Ooh, I do like that too. See, it's in something though. But if I was
Yeah.
just gonna grab a handful of nuts,
No.
walnuts would be the last. I wouldn't eat the nuts. Like if it's just if it's a bowl of walnuts, I'm not eating nuts. So there you go. What kind of nut is your husband, Kim? Brazilian?
I don't know he is a nut, but I don't know what kind of nut.
Pine nuts. I mean, I know that we put it in
Oh,
pesto.
I like a pine nuts are good. Because
No.
have you ever tried a pine nut in and they have it in pesto pasta?
Yeah,
The pine
pesto,
nuts?
but it's blended into it. Again.
No, sometimes they just sprinkle pine nuts on the top.
No, I don't like that.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe
Have you
toast
had
it a
that,
little
though?
bit. Yeah, I mean,
had
I've had
that?
pine nuts. I've had
Have
pine
you
nuts.
crunched them in your teeth? Your crunch
They're
with
okay.
the pasta?
They're okay.
I would argue.
I don't like
differently.
nuts in my pasta. I don't like nuts in my pasta, and I don't like nuts in my.
Get
I
your
also don't
nuts
like.
out of my pasta bowl.
Apparently, in some Italian cultures, and my dad started adopting this, they put pine nuts in their meatballs. The first time my dad did that to me, I said, "Not again. We're not doing that anymore. We are not putting pine nuts in our meatballs at all." So no. But yeah, I love all the nut talk. And now I want ice cream. Calvin says, "I hear you. I hear you." Donna says, "I get a mouth reaction to all walnuts except Trader Joe's baking pieces or halves. Don't know why, but it helps because walnuts are so beneficial." Interesting. I didn't know. Yeah, pine nuts and pesto I've had, but I'm just not. Yeah. Again, though, I'll also say this: I like almonds and pistachios. I don't know if I could give up pistachios. I do love pistachios; they are so freaking good. All right, enough nut talk. Let's move on to this privacy lawsuit. So there's a class action lawsuit, and if you drive a car in California, you may get a payday. So it was a 2021 lawsuit, and it gave class action status that alleges Digital Recognition Network is breaking a California law that's meant to regulate the use of automatic license plate readers. Now, this company is based out of Texas. It uses plate scanning cameras to create location data for people's vehicles and then sells that data to marketers, car repossessors, or insurers. Apparently, this is a pretty big size. It established that if you're a California resident whose license plate data was collected by DRN at least 15 times since June of 2017, you can be part of this class action lawsuit. They estimate it's about 23 million people.
How would we know?
Okay, I'm glad you asked, Kim McAllister. So here's the website. I'm going to put it on the screen. And you can Google your thing. Here, there it is. It's drnprivacyclassaction.com and then /form. So D as in David, R as in renew, N as in Nancy, and privacyclassaction.com. Yeah, so I checked it. Do you want to know how many times
you put your license plate in there?
My license plate's been yeah, you put your license plate number in there and it'll tell you. Do you want to know how many times my license plate has been scanned at least since 2017 when this lawsuit has been? Guess how many times?
7.
None.
What?
None. 0. Big fat goose egg. Now, I don't know if that's common. Like, is it? I'm assuming that's a good thing. When I drive by, cops don't. I'm assuming these are not the cops. They're the ones that are on the light poles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
0. Not once has my license plate.
That's surprising because you live in San Jose, and I thought they had camera scanners there.
Thank
or
you.
License plate readers
I
there.
was totally shocked. I want you to look up yours. Do you know your license plate number?
No.
Oh, you suck. I know. I barely knew mine, but for some reason my computer knew my license plate number, and I was like, oh, there it is. So that was it. I didn't want to go outside and get it because that was just a bar I was not willing to meet. But yeah, if you put your license plate into drnprivacyclassaction.com/form, you will see how many, and it'll tell you how many times your license plate has been scanned. And so you have to put in your license plate number, and then you have to put in the date in which you bought your car. So mine was in December of 2016. I'm going to do it right now and see what it says. And then it's just current today's date. Today is the 26th. And so you check your plate. And yeah, it says your license plate has scanned the license plate you submitted 0 times in California since June of 2017.
You sure you put in the right plate number?
Yep, I did. I did. 0. That just surprised me. Surprised me so much. I just got on the Williams says the site can't be reached. I got on the site. I'm on the site right now.
Enter the dates you own the vehicle associated. You have to put in the day, the month, and the year that you bought the car.
Yeah.
I don't know what the day and the month and the year. How do you have this information at the tip of your fingers?
Because I bought my car on the last day of 2016. It's just a date that stays in my mind. I would have no idea if it wasn't that. But I did. I bought my car the last day of 2016. It was just, I had gotten my money from my Volkswagen scammy car and I went to Toyota and I bought my new car. No, they do not ask for anything else. It's just your driver's license, not your driver's license, your car license plate number, and the date you bought your car and the date, if you still own it, today's date. That's the only information. And if you're worried about them selling that information is out there. Natalie says mine was scanned 39 times. 39 times? And yeah, Natalie, you live in my neighborhood. No, big 0. Not scanned. Oh, Eric had 0 as well. Yeah, interesting. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know why people, if you're concerned about your private information, your driver's or your car license plate on there, don't do it. But mine was nothing. And so I can't be part of the license. But yeah, if Natalie, you could be part of the class action lawsuit. Absolutely.
So there's this, I think it's Tiburon, where they have one of these license plate readers and there's only one way in and one way out of town.
Okay.
So basically everybody that comes in and out gets scanned.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They know if you're supposed to be there and they know if you're not supposed to be there. And so it makes it very easy to keep crime way down, right?
Right.
And so, but if you're a resident of Tiburon, then your license plate probably gets scanned all the time.
Yeah, but it's like, I want to know what you're doing with that information. Now, Chris says, I'm willing to bet my lunch that lower economic areas are more affected. I would say that's true simply because I would also assume that they'd have more cameras, right? I mean, I know Oakland did this whole, blanketing of getting, more shot spotters or more license plate readers. And it's because the shootings on the freeways, and it's so hard to catch people, especially in cities that are set up so close to freeways, because people will come and commit a crime, hop on the freeway, and they're gone. And unless there's some sort of evidence tracking them, then how are you ever going to do it? So, yeah, I would say if you want to be part of it, and it didn't tell me how much you could possibly get. I was looking. Oh, wait, hold on. Barring a settlement or delay, the trial to decide whether DRN must pay a penalty to class members will begin May 17th. I didn't see this part. The case hinges on a law that went into effect in 2016. Now, get this. It sets up a $2,500 minimum payment for those who successfully sue violators. Now, is that for everybody per person in the class action? Is that total? I have no idea. But possibly you can get some dollars. So, Natalie, let me know if you're going to be part of that class action, because I was really shocked that I never had my license plate scanned. I remember I went on a ride along with a cop, and I was amazed. Police officers are really good at inputting license plates backwards, because they pass a car and then they look in their rearview mirror, and then obviously their license plate is backwards, and they're able to do it really quickly. I thought it was like the best magic trick ever. Chris says anyone scanning your plate should be illegal, especially the government. I mean, I guess it's a trade-off. I mean, do you mind if your license plate is scanned? It's public, right? I mean, it's not like anybody can't see it. Everybody can see your license plate. It doesn't really tell you. It doesn't give your address. I mean, obviously, if you're an officer and you look it up, he or she can get that. But me walking down the street, I could see your license plate. I don't know anything more than the state you live in and whether or not you paid your registration, I guess. Yeah, the pop-up said it has to be scanned at least 15 times to be part of the class action. You said yours was scanned 39 times, Natalie. So are you going to be doing it? I guess so. But yeah, I just feel like scanning is okay. And then just give me the truth. That I was going to say the same thing, but only access that data if there's a crime or a validated reason. Exactly. And I don't know if this company violated the law, but it seems a tad fishy if you ask me. All right, we have time for one more story. Actually, I'm going to do two. I'm going to squeeze two in right now because they're both videos. It's just two videos that were kind of shocking. First off, you know who Cam Newton is, Kim McAllister?
No.
Have you heard the name?
Yes.
Cam Newton. Yeah, he's a former football player. Okay. Apparently, he was at this football camp, and I think the football camp like has his name or something like that. Like, he was involved in a fight though at this 7-on-7 youth football tournament in Atlanta. Okay, I'm going to show you the video, and everyone is saying the most amazing part. I mean, it's sad that these people are attacking Cam Newton. But even the more shocking is the fact that he holds off like all of these people without getting injured. And people are saying he's a football player, a former football player. He's been brushing off bigger men than this for a very, very long time. Check out this video. Cam Newton is the one. Hold on. I'll start at the beginning. So he's there right there with the hat on and the dreads sticking up. That's Cam Newton. And I don't know why they're attacking him. It wasn't said, but he doesn't actually hit anybody. He just kind of pushes them away. And they're attacking him for some reason. And he's telling them to chill. He's not actually fighting, which I found to be really actually pretty awesome.
Shit.
Run the language. It's pretty sad though. The thing that
I don't know what I'm looking at there. Like, did they just attack for no reason? Is there some type of thing happening?
Yeah, apparently, we don't know how it started. I was reading like TMZ, all sorts of. Hold on, let me bring up the story really quickly. So yeah, they say that there was the 7-on-7 youth tournament was happening. At some point, Newton got into a altercation with somebody. He can be seen at the top of the stairs holding someone by the collar. Suddenly, a second man jumps in and throws a punch. Then it made its way to a fence where Newton continued defending himself against punches, but he does not appear to throw any punches. He simply grabbed the men in an attempt to restrain them. I'm assuming that they were kids. There's Cam Newton when he was playing with the Panthers. Yeah, I don't know. So again, I wanted to find out if anybody has an update on the story. I haven't gotten one. I just had the story. I just had it. The thing that makes me sad, though, that these are young men. Obviously, it's a youth football tournament. You would hope that, this is supposed to be a way for them to have a safe, fun time together. Mm-hmm. And it sucks when things kind of go bad. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems really sad. Now, I wanted to show you that one because then I wanted to go to this story. And we were talking earlier about the AI in Beverly Hills, that middle school, and what would you do if it was your kid? Mm. So there's this prankster that and now we were talking about affluence, right? He went to a $20,000 a year school. Okay. And
which isn't that much in the scheme of private schools.
I guess $20,000 for a high school seems like a lot of money for me, but okay, I get what you're saying.
The private schools here, even here in Petaluma, and they're not that hoity-toity.
Right.
$50,000 a year.
That is okay.
Sonoma Academy, $50,000 a year.
So just real quickly before I get to the video,
my kids don't go there. I'm just saying, like, that's a lot.
I was talking to my friend about this the other day. I would rather save that money and make sure my kid could go to, maybe they have enough money to do both, but I would rather save the money so my kid doesn't have to take out student loans to go to college.
Yeah.
Than, if I had to choose one. But if you have the money, you have the money. But this kid has been expelled and he's very upset because he is the one on the bridge doing this. Now it's going to start off with a video of some women. They're on like an afternoon boat ride kind of thing, where they're enjoying the sun, a little charcuterie board, probably some wine or something. And then there's this prankster that basically, I guess, poured milk on them. Here we go. Okay, so here's these ladies. All the milk is on the table. Okay, so that's what happened to them. Well, apparently they found the kid. And here's a picture. Like, I want to get it bigger.
So he was over a bridge as they passed through and he dumped the milk on top of them?
Yeah. So look at this. So I don't know if you can see it because I can't blow it up. So he's on top of the bridge. Mm-hmm. He has a thing of milk and he's just spraying it on them. Okay? Now he is getting upset. He's saying, you've ruined my life. He's 16 years old.
No, he ruined his life.
Exactly. So the boy uploaded footage of him under his Instagram account, which is called Giddy No Kitty, and showed himself dumping milk on top of the 4 women while they were on a go-boat ride.
No.
And the short clip obviously showed the women. And then they said, would love to find the kid that ruined our day. Well, of course, the internet did what the internet did. According to the Herald Sun, the boy wrote, please stop contacting my school. My school has caught me. I'm facing expulsion. I can't believe you would do this to a minor. Now, that's the problem. It is this idea that you can do whatever you want to do. And because you're underage, you can get away with it. Exactly, Karen.
Nope.
Where do they think they got the attitude from? The parents, most likely. I would say so. Now, I'm not saying everyone that's affluent and can afford to send their kids to a private school is okay with this, but that needs repercussions.
Doesn't that sound like something his mom said at the kitchen table?
Right.
I can't believe they would do this to a minor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this is why we have the problems, not the sole reason, but it's this lack of accountability in some circles. And I'm not going to say it's just affluent circles, but I do feel like there is this attitude where if you make a certain amount of money, you're above the law. Maybe you could take it all the way to the top with someone like former President Trump. But just because you have money and just because it seems harmless, like what's a little spilled milk, right?
Nope.
Doesn't mean that you're allowed to do that.
I put myself in the victim's shoes and always ask, what would that feel like?
Yes.
If I'm these women in the boat and I get hit with some liquid, for a minute, I don't know what it is.
Right.
Is it acid? Did someone just attack me with acid? Is it semen? Did someone just throw scooge over the boat? I mean, I don't know. Like, what just came down on me? Because it takes you a minute to figure out that it's milk.
Now
you don't know what the hell just came down.
Disturbed. No,
I'm just saying, like, what happened? So, no, you don't throw someone on something and think that's acceptable in any realm.
No, you do not.
And if you don't accept responsibility for it and realize that you are in the wrong and that it's all the blame is squarely on your shoulders, that's an even bigger problem.
Exactly. And I mean, I think the punishment should fit the crime. And if you could find out where the kid went to school and they have a policy in place that it doesn't matter if it happens on campus or off campus and you can face expulsion, then you can. And honestly, that is assault, right? You have literally thrown something on me that I did not want. And it is assault. I would say so. Did Kim just say splooge? Yes, she did. That is her word for it. Thank you.
I don't know.
I didn't think semen, but Kim did. That's where her mind went. So
well, you don't know what it is. It's some white goo coming down on the boat. What is it?
God, if it was that, I would just be so mortified. All right. That is our show. Tomorrow we will update the situation, of course, with the U.S. Supreme Court. We'll wrap up their findings. Also, tomorrow is the Michigan primary. I don't think I need to look into a crystal ball to see who's going to win that one. A bunch of things to talk about. Thank you all for being here. Please, you guys, sign up to become an official Madorable by going to thenikkimadoroshow.com. thenikkimadoroshow.com. That's our page. Patreon account, also PayPal. If you go there, thenikkimadoroshow@gmail.com is another way to send money. The super chat is live, whether you watch live or in replay, and we appreciate each and every one of you for donating to the show. Stay here for the Mark Thompson Show and, of course, the After Party Live, and we will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You're proud, like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.